Hello. Okay, tonight we're going to talk about what is it? Stop feeding the solution or stop feeding the problem? I think I messed up. Stop feeding the solution. I think that's what it is. Yeah, stop feeding the problem, not the solution. The hell am I thinking? All right, anyway, I'm going to roll the intro and I'll be right back. This should be a kind of an interesting topic because some stuff I'm struggling with lately. So join me, won't you? Boom! Let's do this. Oh, hey there. Hi. Okay, so yeah, feed the solution. Stop feeding the problem. Stop feeding the problem. That's what I need to talk about. Okay. So think about this. So this is a big topic because lately I'm going to tell you it's not going to seem like it, but I'm really struggling. I'm struggling with a lot of things. And part of it is, what am I supposed to be doing right now? How am I supposed to deal with this? Like a lot of things with my future. Like I need to really think about me and like what's best going to make the easiest future for me, let's say. Okay. So, I am going to check again because I'm sorry, I do this every time. I know, whatever. But if you've been watching for a while, you should be used to this. Okay. Am I live? Okay. So anyway, I'm going to keep talking while I'm doing this, but yeah. So, I don't know if you're with me here, but okay, there we go. Good. So we always, especially at certain times in our lives, right? Like we're thinking about this and real estate's been a struggle, past few years. So, well, there's my favorite gal, Pam. I'm here. Thanks, Pam. So let's talk about this. Okay. So let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to talk about what's wrong? So for me in real estate, the market is weird. The timing isn't right. People are frustrating. This shouldn't be happening. And that's one, my friends, I'm guilty of all the time. This shouldn't be happening. Okay. It's almost automatic. Like our brains are tiny investigative reporters that are assigned breaking news, like boop, 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 boop. Hey, everybody, here's what's broken. But what if the real power move would be to refusing to keep feeding the problem? And don't worry, if you don't know what that means, I'm going to get into it tonight, okay? Because today we're pulling from 3 different perspectives that all point to the same core idea. Speak solutions, focus on solutions, and train your brain toward solutions. Okay, so I'm going to show you 3 of the articles that I used tonight. Pretty cool. All of them, well, 3 of them come from Medium. Sorry. I'm going to share my screen here. So the first one is focus on solutions, not problems. Well, it's not the first one. That's one of them. And then another one is, just because I know you'd like to see this. Okay. Stop sharing. That might help. Share screen. Don't deal with the problem, only the solution. So I take all these ideas, right? And then I kind of like put my own spin on them. Oh, gosh. Okay, sorry. And then I have, this is probably taking too long. Sorry. Share screen. 1, 2, 3. Focus on solutions, not problems. A guide to a positive mindset. What? And I think I have one more. I see your thing again, Pam. I'm glad you're here. Stop screen share and then do one more. Oh, sorry. Anyway, you get the idea. We'll talk about it, okay? Because it's not toxic positivity. We're not pretending problems don't exist, okay? We're just choosing not to rent them permanent office space in our minds, if that makes sense to you, okay? So please tell me if you're on here and this resonates with you, because when I talk about these are things some of the time that I'm struggling with. Okay. So let's get into it. When I say feed the problem, I mean feed the solution. I keep saying that. Here's what I mean. Your mind is a fire, and whatever you feed it grows. Okay. So have you ever heard, like when I was a teacher, have you heard the words, your words are very powerful? They are. So what you think about yourself, what you speak about yourself, that's the thing, right? So if you keep feeding frustration, blame, and replaying what's wrong, that's the flame you build. But if you feed action, options, and the next move, then everything shifts. Because it doesn't mean that the problem isn't real. It just means that you're not overfeeding it, like overfeeding the fire. So you're going to adjust your grip and you're going to just move on, right? So that's feeding the solution. So your brain loves problems. It really does. Okay. So the article focus on solutions in here, and I'll put these in the description or something so that you can see them. So focus on solutions, not problems, a guide to a positive mindset, not toxic positivity. Like I said, it talks about or writes about how we naturally focus on problems because we are wired for that threat detection. So survival mode, scan for danger, fix it, stay alive. And that wiring helped our ancestors stay alive. Jesus, can I not speak tonight? So it just makes us spiral. So like, we're not cavemen living back in the days, right? We're not avoiding. Well, maybe we're avoiding lions if you live in the in Africa or something. But so this would be like a situation where you're looking at an email and then you misread the tone or a text. Okay. So the issue isn't that problems exist; it's that we repeatedly talk about them, we complain about them, we rehearse them, we strengthen that neural pathway. So if we're like, oh my God, this email, blah blah blah, you're already forming this opinion in your head, right? Okay, cool. So I got some more comments. Very hard to get negative thought out once it's rooted, right? Like a weed in your beautiful flower garden. Exactly. That is such a good point. Yay, Kathy. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Hello. Hopefully this is good for you tonight. Or everybody is what I mean. But what you speak, you reinforce, okay? So I've talked about this before. So we're gonna delve deeper into like if you're facing a problem and like what not to say, but just very simply, you make a mistake and you're like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Don't say that. Don't do that. You're not an idiot. We all make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you're not learning, right? So in one of these articles, the Monday Challenge article, it's writes about speaking only solutions for a day. So I was going to do this today and I messed up. It's not ignoring reality. It's just shifting language. So instead of this deal is falling apart, you try, what are my options to stabilize this? And as a realtor, I've had to do this a bunch. So like if a problem comes up, like for instance, and I've talked about it before, I think. So I've got a listing and my sellers, are going to buy another house. And we are relying on these buyers to, follow through and be able to close the deal. And then something happens. And so the rug's pulled out from under us, right? So what are we going to do? Are we going to say, this sucks, I give up, I'm not selling the house? Or are we going to figure out our options to stabilize it and move forward? So that's what I'm talking about. And I need to do this with everything, right? So instead of, I don't know what to do, try, what's my next step? It's a small shift with a massive impact. Massive. Okay. So your brain responds to questions. So when you ask it solution-based questions, it starts scanning for answers instead of threats. Okay. So here are some strong solution-based questions that keep your energy moving forward. So for example, when something feels overwhelming, you ask yourself, what part of this is actually in my control or under my control, or however you want to say it? What would progress look like in the next 24 hours? When you feel stuck, you ask yourself something like, if I had to move forward today, what would I try? What am I avoiding that would actually create relief? And I'm going to tell you that I am really, really guilty of that one a lot. I avoid stuff and I know it's not healthy. So hopefully this helps you. Okay. So once you identify that, then you can start making those small steps. So like in business or negotiations, well, what outcome are we trying to create here? What are 3 options we haven't considered yet? If you're in a relationship, what does resolution look like instead of being right? What would de-escalation look like right now? Okay. And then personal growth mode. What skill is this situation trying to tell me? This is what I got to ask myself all the time. What do I need to become to handle this situation or this level of, where I'm at in this process? Okay. So ask yourself, these are really important questions. What's the next move? What would the calmest version of me do here? So that's a really, really good one. What would the calmest version of me do here? Right? That's not woo-woo. It's neuroscience. And I've been studying a lot more about this lately. Okay. So problems will build you if you let them. So one of the articles there about not dealing with the problem, but the solution makes a key point. Problems are a part of growth. They're not evidence that you're failing. They're evidence that you're participating. So really think about that. Problems are a part of growth. They're not evidence that you're failing. They're evidence that you're participating. Because every level of life, whether I want to believe it or not, comes with a new level of problems. Stronger body, heavier weights. Bigger business, bigger decisions. More visibility, more opinions. The goal is not to eliminate your problems. It's to navigate them. Okay. So here would be an example of the difference. All right. So this is Megan. Hey, preach, right? Strong woman. Okay. So, wait, I got to take you off there. Hang on. Thank you, Megan. Hey, hi. Nice to see you. So if you say like, a dwelling would say like dwelling on the issue. Okay. Why is this happening to me? Which I'm guilty of. The solution focus would say, what is this asking me to become? And that question changes everything. I wonder if I put this in my notes over here. What is this asking me to become? I don't think I put it in there. Shoot. All right. It moves you from victim to builder. And as someone who likes to throw heavy things for fun, strength is built under resistance. It's not in comfort. So think about that for a minute. Let me check something out here. Okay. So so in the article, How to Train a Solution Mindset, it breaks down practical mindset habits. So let's make it usable. Okay. So number 1, catch the complaint loop. So notice how often you repeat the same problem story. If you said it 3 times and it hasn't moved you forward, it's rehearsal. It's not processing. Interrupt it. Ask, what would solving this look like? Okay. I need to have some more comments. Hang on a second. I want to hire you now. Yes, Chuck. Hi. Oh my God. I've talked to you in forever. And Michael D. King. That is a Keller Williams bold law. See? Boom. Aligning. Okay. So the next one. Thank you. By the way, you guys, you're really making me feel awesome. Okay. So 2, shrink the problem to the next action. Okay. So big problems feel overwhelming because we treat them like abstract monsters. Do we break it down? Not like, so how do I fix my entire life? But we do like to fix it. You say, okay, what's the next phone call? What email needs to be sent? What conversation needs to happen? Momentum beats rumination every single time. Every single time. Okay. Speak solutions out loud. This one matters. Okay. So I talk all the time. I talk to myself. I don't know if you're someone who talks to yourself, but when you speak solutions in a room, you shift the room, whether you're alone or whether you have 27 people in there. Energy follows leadership. So instead of, this is a mess, here are 3 options. You become the thermostat, not the thermometer. And in business, in relationships, in leadership, that is power. Right? I love it. Okay, so let's make something clear. Focusing on solutions does not mean suppressing your emotions, okay? And this is really important for me. Really important, because I have a lot of emotions and sometimes I can't handle them. And sometimes I feel like that is my downfall. And it's not. So we have to just learn how to navigate this. And you know what? It's okay if you're still learning at 20, 30, 40, 70, 80. It doesn't matter. It is never too late. My mother is 85 5 years old. And she's in physical therapy, and she's only been over it for over a month, and she has made 75% progress. It's insane. It's never too late. We can talk about that later. Okay. So here's the deal. It's okay if you feel frustrated. You can feel hurt. You can feel overwhelmed. But after you feel it, that's when you need to choose your direction. Okay. So there's a moment between reaction and response. I think I have a banner for this. Sorry. It's like hard for me to go in between here. There's a moment between reaction and response. Okay. It means that when something happens, it means you're not owned by your first impulse, which I don't know if you're like me, but if you are, man, when I was younger, I used to have this trigger response all the time. And it would just not really serve me well. And you don't think about it back then, when you're in your teens and your early 20s, whatever, you rule the world. But after you feel it, you choose direction, because there's a moment between action and response. That moment's your sovereignty, okay? And so that's a really weird thing to say. What does that mean? It means that when something happens, when something happens, your first reaction is automatic. Someone sends a sharp email, a deal falls apart, someone says something sideways. The initial surge for you is that's reaction. It's fast, it's emotional, it's instinctive. You want to you just want to reply, okay? But there's a tiny pause before you act, and that's what's going to make the difference. Before you reply, before you speak, before you decide what this means, the pause is the space where you choose. That's what sovereignty means here. It means you're not owned by your first impulse. You're not required to obey your emotion. You get to decide what happens next. How freaking great is that? Reaction is a reflex. Response is power. Boom. And the small gap between the two, that's where your leadership lives. Okay? When you choose solution over spiral, you reclaim your control. That's not pretending. It's discipline. Okay? So here's a 24-hour challenge I'm going to do. You can do it with me. That's still on there. Some of these I don't have on for a certain amount of seconds. Next 24 hours, every time you state a problem, even a tiny one, I'm going to burp. This workout feels hard, so I'll just do the first set. This deal is stressful, so I'll call and clarify. I feel stuck, so I'll write for 10 minutes. I'm saying it kind of like, this workout feels hard, so I'll just do the first set, and then you go on from there. This deal is stressful, so I'm going to call and clarify some details. I feel stuck, so I'm going to write for 10 minutes. I've been writing in one of my journals. I have 1,000 journals because I'm a crazy person. I like writing everything down, and not everything always works. Okay. Once you do that, watch how your energy changes. Watch how conversations change. Watch how you feel more powerful. And I don't know about you, but I don't need to feel like the most powerful person. Rah, rah, rah. I want to feel that I'm within my own power, right? So Megan says, stop, challenge, choose. Exactly. See? It's a choice. Everything's a choice. It really is. Okay. Remember that you don't control everything that happens, but you do control what you amplify. So feed the solution and starve the spiral. Train your mind like you train your body. Okay. Here's some other final thoughts. Dun, dun, dun. Mistakes are how we learn. I had that in there. I think I messed up. Okay. Keep your goals in sight and let go of what didn't go quite right. Okay. Because then you may be closer to a solution than you think. So I promise you, once you train your mind like you train your body, and I'm working on this myself, so let's check in with each other, your life will start responding differently. So hopefully this helped you guys tonight a little bit, because so I'm doing my 90-day challenge day, and I think I just did day 48 today. And this is my dichotomy. It's like both easy and hard also, because sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, I haven't done anything. It's 8:00 and I got to think of a video real quick. And fortunately, I can put it together pretty quickly. But I'm also really wanting to be intentional about things, right? What I'm learning though is that I don't have to be so stressed about it. I can let it go, and it's still going to work out okay. Okay, got a comment. Chuck, powerful message. Thanks. Well, and they're not always this intense, but I've just been feeling it lately. So thank you so much. And miss you. I haven't seen you in forever. Like it's been forever. But yeah, so realize honestly that you have it within you to take control of any situation. Okay. And especially if it's to deal with emotions and some other things. And like I said, I've been kind of a hermit lately. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm doing the things I need to do, and I'm doing some things, and I do have some fun when I'm out there. But I've been struggling, so I have a constant battle with this myself. Okay, we're not all perfect. We're not all supposed to like have all the answers. Sometimes the learning is the strength, you know. So thanks for joining me tonight, you guys. Really. Like and subscribe. It'll make Sit Squatch and his tiny hiney very happy. Chuck, you haven't been on here. This is Sit Squatch. He's not your average Sasquatch. Okay. And he says the journey begins with you, so be good to yourself. La la la. And here's me, Morgan. I love ya. Peace and love. I'll see you next week. Hey, listen, if you want to tell me what you're working on, what you're struggling with in the comments, please do. I will get back to you. I promise. I always respond to everybody. Pam says, I should take a vacation. Well, maybe I will, Pam. What do you think about that? Details to come later. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you next week. Bye.